Hello, and welcome to Change the Face of Yoga, teaching toddlers through golden oldies. I'm very excited to be talking to lots of yoga teachers who will explain their passion for teaching yoga to students with different ages, physical fitness levels, wellness levels, and different goals. They will explain the benefits of yoga for these students and will be including teacher tips and pose modifications. I am Stephanie Cunningham of Yoga Lightness, and I've been teaching over 50s for 10 years. So this area is my passion and the passion of many other yoga teachers that you will be listening to in this series. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get started. This is episode 006, part 2, and we're talking about retirement coaching. And specifically in this part, we're talking about how to make good choices on lifestyle changes. And later on, we'll be discussing this with Jennifer Greaney, who went through the retirement coaching process. Today, we're going to talk about lifestyle issues. And last week, we talked about finding purpose in your retirement years, doing something that contributes to your family, your community, your society, however you would like to think of it. And this week we're going to talk about how to feel as good as you can. And there's three different ways to look at it. And one is to bring things into balance so that you're sleeping the correct amount of hours a night, whatever that correct amount might be for you, that you're eating well, that you're not sabotaging yourself with what I call too little or too much, doing things that you shouldn't do as much as you are, or not doing things that you should be doing a little bit more. And then how to find connection through social interaction. It is an issue with older people who are retired who do not have the resources of a job to interact with colleagues or families that have grown up and have their own families now. So that's also an issue of finding connection. And the third is to relieve stress, although there's some idea out there that retirement is stress-free. It isn't. It's a different set of stressors than you've probably had in your career, but it still can be very stressful as you try to work through and find yourself a purpose for the many years that you may be retired, as you try to work through how you can find connection with others and interact with them. So those three things are all included in lifestyle issues. And how do we go about looking at that area? Well, this again is survey based, and I will give you a survey that asks you how well you sleep and what's your diet like, and are there things that you would like to do less of, or things that you might like to do more of, how much exercise you do, and what are the stressors if you can identify them in your life. And using the results of that survey, then we'll start to go through what your goals are, what you would like to change, what you might find to be roadblocks, are the ways around that. So basically putting together a tentative plan so that your health will be as good as possible given your particular body and history. What we're going to do then is look at all of those issues and come up with some plans based on some tools that yoga has. And what are those tools? Well, one of them, although it's certainly not only yoga's, is journaling, of actually writing things down and saying, yes, I want to change my diet, and I want to change my diet for these reasons, and this is what I want it to look like at the end, okay? And just thinking that through, and then pretty soon it becomes obvious that, yes, the way to go is plan A, not plan B, or whatever. But it gives you a way to think through all those thoughts in a consistent way. After we've gotten all of those particular goals set about what you want to achieve for your retirement, then we'll set up some steps. So if you feel that you'd like to work on chronic lower back pain or something, I can give you some yoga stretches, gentle ones that will help, that will strengthen that area, that will bring it back into balance. And that's basically what we're trying to do here, is bring the life into balance after having a different kind of balance when you're working. Now you have to find a new way to balance what you need. And so we'll look at whether we need some help with physical issues. We'll look at diet. Are you wanting to change your diet? Do you think you're eating the right things? Would you like to eat different things? Again, what your goals are and what are some steps to get to those goals. So we go through all of that. How do you, do you want to exercise more? Do you want to learn about a new type of exercise? Do you want to learn how to sail? Or do you want to learn, how to ride a motorcycle or something? I don't know. Could be anything. It's up to you. But so we'll go through all of those issues so that when you follow those plans, and they are just plans, so they have to be flexible. You will come out feeling physically and mentally better. Now, the other thing that yoga can help with in retirement is social isolation. Social isolation is one of the most pervasive mental health issues with older people. And you have that social isolation problem because when you were working, you could automatically talk to your colleagues, um, perhaps clients, depending on what kind of career you had. But there was many, many opportunities to talk to other people, to connect with them. And that's kind of a basic human need to connect with others. And if you are retired, there are not the built-in ability to connect with others as you had during a career. Instead, you actually have to go out and find those connections. Now, whether they're through, joining groups or volunteering or whatever it might be, whatever is the best way that you want to do it. But it is a very important human need, and it probably needs to be planned for within a retirement situation. So we'll also be looking at that to make sure that you have plans to connect with other people. And the third lifestyle issue after balance and connection is stress. Now, there's kind of an idea out there that retirement's such a free and easy thing, and there is no stress, and that's quite untrue. It isn't probably the same stressors that you had when you were working, but it is stressful. Finding purpose. What are you going to do every day? What's your schedule? Who are you going to talk to? It can be quite isolating to be retired, and so you really have to plan that through and figure out how you're going to meet those three requirements. How is your life going to be balanced? How are you going to be connected? And how are you going to handle stress? Well, again, yoga has some tools that you can tap into. The balance issues, you can make a plan to change your diet, increase your exercise. All of that can flow into having better sleep. And then you can also plan how you want to connect, what you're going to do. You can use journals. You can use meditation, and what to say right now, that meditation is learning how to focus without all of the noise in our minds. Our minds can take, lots and lots of ideas at once. But what meditation does is it focuses the mind and it calms you down. And it is specifically to help you go into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and ease system, not the fight or flight system, which is what you're in if you are stressed. And so we're going to teach you how to go over into that rest and ease situation, which will help you think better and will help you with your goals. Stress tends to have very negative physical effects, but it also has very negative emotional and mental effects. So, being calm and cool and in control is a much better situation than being so very stressed. So, I do want to say that I have taken this particular road on retirement coaching because I found my retirement to be very difficult. But it is based on the work of Mark Bredner, who is a yoga coach, and he has put this program together for people to use the tools of yoga to help them through any kind of change in life. I've chosen to work with the retirement change. Others are working with athletes, women who have just had a baby, or all of those really benchmarks in our life, shall we say, where things do change. But I do want to let you know that it's Mark's invention, shall we say. And if you would like to know more about yoga coach in general, I would certainly contact Mark Bredner, and hit at his website, which is www.yogacoach.com. Now that you have a kind of an overview of what the lifestyle issues might be and how we would address them, we're now going to go back and talk to Jennifer Greaney again, who went through the retirement coaching process with me. And last week we talked about how she found purpose by working through the process. And this week we're going to talk about how her lifestyle changes, about the lifestyle changes that she's made as a result of this coaching. Let's go talk to Jenny.
Made a lot of changes in that area too, in that what did you just did the El Camino in Spain, right?
Yes, I did. And oh my God, that was one of the highlights of my life. I'd say that since we did that work, that I've been more regular with my exercise, and I have I have diabetes, but that's under control with diet and exercise. I have high blood pressure, that's under control with exercise. So exercise has become part of my life. It's like I have to do it because being in my 60s, there's an awareness that I will get sick if I don't, So it's become really important. And then for reasons that that are kind of pretty complex even for me to understand, I got it into my head to walk this 800-kilometre pilgrimage in Spain, and that took a lot of preparation leading up to that. So I had 6 months of working with a trainer to get my fitness levels up, because the walk does take in some mountainous parts of Spain, so there's a bit of uphill climbing, and I averaged, in doing this walk, I averaged 20 kilometres a day, and some of that being pretty difficult climbing sometimes in really hot conditions. So, yeah, I had from January through to mid-September when I finished the Camino of just becoming fitter and fitter and fitter. And I mean, I'm still in pretty good I'm still, pretty fit, not as fantastic as I was when I first finished the Camino, but yeah, it's like I can walk up a hill now without any trouble, So that was a wonderful thing to do. I loved it so much. I loved the physical exercise, but I also loved the opportunity to be doing something on my own where I really got to test my own limits.
It's important, isn't it, to be able to feel that you can do things that you didn't really realize that you could, I think. So,
Yeah, that's right. To challenge yourself, it makes you feel really good about yourself.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of myself.
Well, you should be. Yes. And great photographer. She took some absolutely beautiful photos too, which has nothing to do with anything, but I just thought I'd throw that in. Another part of what you went through was that you realized that you kind of had to negotiate all of this with your partner. And because if you were going to change that much, if you were going to do all of these new things, obviously a long-term partner is going to be part of it. So how did that work out for you? Did the retirement coaching help at all with that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how all that panned out. Part of the work that I did was to really hone in on wanting to move to the coast, and that was my big plan, that I was going to move to the coast and set up a business, and so that involved talking to my partner, who tends to be a far more cautious person than myself. He really likes to mull things over, doesn't sort of take to change as easily as I do. So, there was quite a lot of, as you say, negotiating there. And but he started to come around because, let's just say that I could be very persuasive. And so he came around to the idea of moving to the coast. So that was it. We started telling all of our friends that we were leaving Armidale, we were going to move to the coast, and then one night we went to a party, and it was at a friend's house who lived out of town. And after the party, I said, maybe we don't need to move to the coast. Maybe we just need to get out of town. So that became a little detour that we took. And so we moved out of town, decided we really liked it. And so for the last 3 years, we shelved the plans to move to the coast. And then when I was in Spain last year, my partner was, he stayed in Australia, but he spent a couple of months down at the beach. And it was during that time that he wrote to me and said, Jenny, I really love it down here. Let's go back to our original plan and move to the coast. So I went, okay. Yep, that sounds like a plan to me. And I like the idea that we're adventurous, and we may be getting older, but we're not going to just keep doing things because we've always done them. And the Camino had definitely tapped into my sense of adventure. So I thought, yep, it's what I've wanted to do for a long time. He's keen, so let's do it. And that's what we've done. We haven't sold our house in the country. We've rented it because we're going to give it a year and check it out, see how we like it. And that's why we find ourselves in this position now, looking for somewhere to rent for a year, because it's like putting our toe in the water to see if we like it. So the negotiation was, it wasn't too difficult. Chris and I get on really well together, and we can, talk about stuff quite easily together. And yeah, it's taken a few years, but we're here. I've made it to the coast, and that was one of the things that came out of my work with you.
Okay, but I think it's a good point, which is, yes, you can make a plan and you can put in all the logistics about when you want to do this and when you want to do that. But you also can be open to, I think we want to change this right now, because we found something that might be a better thing to do, or we just want to try this. And I think that that's also important out of the process, is that yes, you will come up with a plan, but it may change over time, and it's you still have that basis of what you want to do, and you can go forward.
That's right. It's like a broad guide. You've narrowed it down to these are the sorts of things and the type of direction I want to go in. But life brings things to you, and life brought to me a couple of people who came and visited us and talked about the Camino, and 6 months later I was doing it. So, I think you're right that it's so important to kind of be open to possibilities and to adventure, and that's how I see it, that I like to have in mind what I want to do, like a general plan. But more and more I have this sense that life kind of, if you pay attention and be aware of opportunities that arise and things that sort of just come across your path, if you're open, then life can lead you in interesting directions too. So it's a bit of both, yeah. Bit of planning, bit of openness to possibilities.
Okay, well, Jenny, I love talking to you. You've been you've done so much in 3, 4, 5 years. It's kind of amazing. Bought a house, moved to the coast, went on the El Camino, started your business. I mean, gone down to
and also opened a shop in that time. I had a shop for a year, which I learned that I don't really want to be a shopkeeper, but still, it's like, wow, that. There's no doubt in my mind that point in my life where I did that work with you did set me off in a new direction and I mean that in a lot of ways, like attitudinally, with the focus, with more self-belief. It was a very powerful process.
I'm glad. If any of you now, like Jenny said, she's a bit betwixt and between, but if any of you would like to talk to her about her healing, it's called Deep Space Healing, and her phone number is 0457 723 265. And I'm sure she'd love to talk to you.
And just one thing on that, Stephanie, I do energy work remotely. So even if you're in another part of the world, I can still work with you. As you know, because I've done remote work with you.
That's true. That's true. I don't believe in what Jenny says, but Jenny does. But it always works on me. So I'm in a very conflicted point of view on that. She has solved something that no one else has been able to solve on my body. So she's really, really intuitive and really, really good at what she does. I don't understand it, but it works. That's
such a great thing coming from a science person. I don't know how it works, but it does. So yeah, thanks for that.
I really don't. So thank you, Jenny. I appreciate so much you sharing your journey with us. It's always nice to know that when you've done something, you've you've made a difference in someone else's life. And I think you worked really hard throughout the coaching, and you've taken it. And I'm really glad to hear that you're really, really happy now.
Yeah.
And that part of it is due to the work that you did.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you for that wonderful interview. If you would like to be a guest on Changing the Face of Yoga, please go to my website, www.yogalightness.com.au, and under the Changing the Face of Yoga tab, you can complete Be Our Guest form. After reviewing the form and finding it applicable to this podcast, we will send you a link to schedule an interview. Please download, review, and tell your friends of any podcasts that are of interest to you and to them. If you would like to contact me, send an email to info@yogalightness.com.au. And thank you for listening to Changing the Face of Yoga.